Hi, Deborah Roth back again at Spirited Musings this week to help you prepare for one of the most sacred days on the Earth-centered calendar of the year coming up next week. We know it, of course, as Halloween on October 31st, but it's a holiday, a festival, a holy day that's been celebrated around the world for a millennium in all cultures. Most of our traditions, I would say, around Halloween really derive from the old Europe or the Northern Europe Celtic traditions, and I'll share some of those with you today. It's totally impossible to try and give you a complete, rich overview and history of this really deep and powerful event, pivotal point in the wheel of the year in like 5 minutes, but I'll do my best. So, Halloween derives from what was called Samhain and it's a weird spelling, Samhain, which was a harvest, one of the many harvest festivals that occurred over the course of the year, a time when the final harvest was brought in, when animals all over would begin to move into hibernation so that and over the winter time, of course, we know that they're simulating death. And in fact, what Samhain, what later came to be known as Halloween, represented was a time, a point in the wheel of the year when the veil was the thinnest, considered to be the thinnest between the world of the living and the world of the dead. So all over the world, it's been revered as a time to honor our ancestors. I would suspect most of us have heard of the Mexican Day of the Dead that is celebrated on November 1st. I actually have a wonderful little skeleton. In Mexico, they create picnics on their ancestors, on their loved ones' grave sites, and it's a big party. It's really feasting, bringing all of your ancestors' favorite foods and sugar-coated skeletons, and it's not about fearing death, it's about honoring ancestors. Now, likewise, in West Africa, the Dahomey tribe welcomes their ancestors back at a big harvest festival that they call Setting the Table. In Asia, there are a number of different celebrations. One, let's see, I want to make sure I remember the three of them. In Vietnam, it's called Wandering Souls Day, where they welcome back their ancestors. And in China, it's called the Receiving Ancestors Festival. In Japan, it's known as Obon, O-B-O-N. So we're part of a very rich tradition here. What I want to suggest for you is to create a mini kind of ancestor celebration, which I've done many years of my new moon circles here in New York City. And you can create a little altar for yourself. I always invite people to bring maybe a picture. I have a picture of my dad who died in '96. Really extraordinary. I had a wonderful relationship with him. Made me crazy sometimes, as parents do, but I feel very lucky. So I always bring my dad, a picture of my dad, and a favorite food of theirs. I always have peanut brittle for him. That was one of his favorites. And a candle. I've got a candle that I've had for years that's in the shape of a skeleton, kind of in memory of or in connection with the Day of the Dead celebrations. And chrysanthemums, which are considered the flower of the dead. So I have a dried chrysanthemum from one of my past ancestor celebration rituals. So I encourage you to bring all of these things together. Food, soul cakes. You could look up a recipe for soul cakes. They really came about as a result of when the Christian church sort of took over this pagan, and all pagan means is country dweller, but took over this celebration that the early people had in Northern Europe and called it All Souls Day or All Saints Day. And that made Halloween Hallows Eve. So that's where we come to that. The whole tradition of wearing masks was to scare away any mischievous spirits that might also have crossed that veil, little fairies, little tricksters that might cross that veil that's the thinnest on this day. So you don't want them to recognize you, or you could put out plates of milk or even beer or whiskey to tempt them away from causing trouble. And a jack-o'-lantern, which at that time was also, here's my jack-o'-lantern votive, which I love. And and that's actually from a tradition of carving vegetables, carving some of those vegetables that were harvested at the end of the harvest season. So take all of the things that represent your deep connection to those that you love best and create a little special ancestor worshiping, honoring ritual for yourself next Halloween, and really bring back the sacred meaning for yourself. Have fun, but think about those dear loved ones that you want to reconnect with, and use this as an opportunity to do that. I'd love to hear your stories. Bye for now.